everyone. Dr. Heather Tucker here with another episode of Wisdom Wednesdays. I hope you're ready for this message. Because this one, ladies and gentlemen, is a game changer. Let me repeat that. Game changer. What are we talking about today? We're talking about one word that transforms everything. And that word is trust, the power of trust. See, what happens a lot of times, especially in relationships, especially within the workplace or within our business, a lot of it has, or even just everything, a lot of it has to do with trust, right? Like, what is one of the biggest things that happens when there's calamity, right? I'm not sure who I can trust. I don't feel safe. Who, all of these pieces, right? Who do you feel safe to talk to? Like I talk about, and actually I learned this as well on this journey. People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So, what is your know, like, and trust factor? I also talk about how our business is an extension of us. So, how we go will influence how the business goes. How deep we are is what's going to influence how deep and successful the business is. And a big part of it has to do with this word that we're talking about, trust. So, let's take a break on that one. Breathe in, breathe out. Because here's the question: how deep is the trust in your life? How deep is your trust with God? How deep is your trust with yourself? How deep is your trust with other people? And how deep is your trust with the environment that you're in? Right? Like, so let me just take a pause for a minute. For those of you, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are just kind of getting started, right? They're coming out of working 9 to 5, maybe in a successful company or not, and they're transitioning into full-time entrepreneurship, especially becoming a coach or expanding their business as a coach. And a lot of how things were can come into the old, can come into the new, meaning that we need to have peace where we are. And a lot of times that's hard, especially when there is a difficulty of trust. So I'm going to share with you how to be able to break free from some of these things. And I'm first going to start with Stephen Covey Jr.'s. He's a junior, like the original Stephen Covey, but who did seven successful habits of, or 7 habits of highly successful people. I think he had a son, and his son wrote this book, The Power of Trust. So I want to share with you a little snippet of that, and then I want to share with you ways on how to be able to create more trust. Because the deeper that you go, especially with being able to trust all of you, trust God, trust other people in your life, and recognizing that, not everybody is going to be for you, right? Paying attention to the people that can support you and have that you have that know, like, and trust factor with. This is one of the biggest things that can allow your success to excel expansion exponentially. I love this. Okay, so let me share this really cool thing about trust. Okay, and then I'm going to share with you a few ways on how to be able to increase your trust. Okay, so therefore you can have the amazing success that you've been called to have, that's already there. Victory is already yours, especially when you can trust and allow and let go of the how. So therefore you can enjoy the wow now. Okay, so let me share my screen because this is just too good. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. So Stephen Covey, as I mentioned before, he had this book called The Speed of Trust. And he says when trust goes down, the speed of success goes down and the cost of success goes up. So let's think about that. When trust goes down, the speed of success goes down and the cost goes up. I remember on my entrepreneurship journey when there was not a lot of trust in me. There was some trust in God, but I was also resisting because I couldn't necessarily see what is going to happen. And I got so caught up and paralyzed and not sure where to go, and that lack of direction and that lack of clarity, that the speed of success went down and it costs more to be able to continue. I can think about in my marriage where it was sometimes difficulty with trusting, and that trust would go down and the speed of our growth would go down and the cost of what we could lose would go up. This is what we refer to as a tax. Hold on, let me make sure that it goes here. This is what we refer to as a tax or a loss. See, when trust goes down, we can continue to lose trust, and it can continue to slow things down, and it will continue to make things more expensive, which is, really interesting because there's this relationship with time and money, right? So a lot of times we think, especially when we get this calling to be this entrepreneur, oh my gosh, it's going to be immediate success, right? And the more that we stagger in this difficulty of trusting, the more that it's going to cost us to be able to get the business off the ground. And then also our speed and our energy, the time of success is going to decrease or go longer. Now, check this one out. I love when trust goes up. When trust goes up, the speed of success goes up and the cost of success goes down, right? So it's nothing but gain. It's our dividends. This is where we're tapping in to all the amazingness and the fruit of our labor, and we see it and we experience it, and it's abundant and it's prosperous, and it's like this never-ending flowing river of purpose, passion, and prosperity. How cool is that? See, how do I want to say this? I know that I talk about a lot that we don't have to have a great past to have a great future. But I want you to know that a lot of times what has created our present is a result of our past. So when we can heal more of the past and live more in the present and have a bigger vision for the future, then it actually makes trusting much easier. So we want to trust and allow and let go of the how. So therefore you can enjoy the wow now. I had to repeat that because it's just that good. And allow yourself to hope, to believe, to trust again. Don't let a few bad memories stop you from living a good life. Granted, I know I've heard sometimes of people who say are scared to get into business, or there's a difficulty in business because maybe business before wasn't successful. And it's like, how do you have to keep trying over and over and over again? Or scared to get married again because maybe the previous marriage or relationship wasn't successful. And then you end up with the same patterns over and over and over again. How to be able to stop those patterns, especially ones that we don't want to continue or to repeat itself, is to be able to heal the past, to live more present in the present, and have a bigger vision for the future, like I said. So, yes, you can definitely go to our website, anotherlevelliving.com, grab our free guide on your ultimate biz life harmony, schedule your clarity call so we can chat and be able to support you in breaking free. So therefore you could increase your energy, ease, and momentum, because it's about operating in ease and grace. We think that we have to work hard for money. No. That's just something we're taught. It's actually abundant, and all we have to do is put in some effort, put in that trust, Allow and let go of the how. Don't get so caught up in how it's going to work. That's what brings the anxiety. So, trusting and allowing more harmony in your life. Here is how you can do that. The first one is less trusting and more thinking. Less trusting and more thinking. A lot of times we overthink and our mind actually gets so active because we're thinking, and we never get a place to be. So the power is in the being, okay? This actually goes along with the principle talk less and listen more, which is a beautiful first point of the One Philosophy by Nancy Matthews of WPN. Talk less and listen more, because less is more. Less is more. I now work a lot less than I used to, and then I'm receiving more. And it's possible for you too. Home is where the heart is. It is the foundation from which everything flows. Our home is our body. Our home is our home. Remember, the most important things aren't things. And this is actually one of the biggest principles that we go by. Not a principle, a scripture. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Mark 3:25, people. 3:25. Let me stop sharing because this is just so good. Let me show you. When there's conflict internally, in our mind, body, or soul, or even in our homes, or even in our business, it will prevent success. It'll create this stagnation success, right? Where we have to keep climbing, like we're climbing up a hill. So is it better to resolve and break free from all those things, so therefore we can fully live in that freedom, or continue to endure the pain of ignoring it or avoiding it? The last secret is never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. You know, I think about so many people who work 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week for their whole life, only to retire at 60, and then have never really been able to live life. God didn't want that for us. He wanted us on a mission field where prosperity is abundant and we're doing his will or his calling for our life. And yes, we can fight it. I know I did. And when you give into it, when you really lean in to what you're called to do and who you're called to be, and when you let go of the things that are no longer serving you, then you can be able to leap forward into your total prosperity and create the impact that you desire to create. Again, it's totally possible. I'm living proof of it. So let's get on the power of trust, because we're called to be united, not divided. Whereas we see so much division in the world right now. How can we bring it back together? Is to be able to go deeper on this thing of trust and know that everything is happening for us and not necessarily against us. And then what are the losses that you have? Like, okay, I know we've lost so many people in this country, so many people worldwide over the last year. And I want you to think about, what have you gained? What have you gained? You know, I think about my grandmother who passed away a couple of months ago, and I saw her take her last breath. And it was such a painful moment, a pivotal moment in my life. And what I realized was, you know, I may have lost my grandmother here on earth, but I gained an amazing angel who has added to the angels army that I have, and has totally could support me on the spiritual side more than she ever could have here. I also gained her wisdom in reflecting on the memories and the amazingness that she had shared when she was alive here. So therefore, I can be able to teach that same thing to my kids and hopefully my grandkids. I gained more connection with the family to recognize, you know what, we don't know how much longer we have. So it's time to connect and spend quality time while we can. So I want you to think about, what have you gained? Even in the midst of the losses, what have you gained? And how deep can you trust that what you gained and what you have already can propel you forward into amazingness, the amazingness that you already are? All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Wisdom Wednesday. Make sure you put in the chat below or comment below, what is your biggest takeaway? I look forward to hearing back from you. And if there's any questions or something that you want us to be able to answer or address, make sure you send us an email or a message on social media, preferably email, support@anotherlevelliving.com. And we will definitely take that into consideration when we're doing some of these amazing videos, because we are here to be of service to you. We love and appreciate you and look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.